Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the first videos. This is ProTrigger channel and this is lesson number 3 or video number 3. I did have some questions from the first 2 videos and I want to get to those, I want to answer those. The first question that I had was, can we use an interlocking grip? I showed you the grip in the last video. And what I showed you was the Hogan variant of the interlocking grip, and we put that on there neutral, or what some might say a little bit strong. Ben Hogan later in his life used a weak grip, but we're going to leave that on just a little bit strong. I would recommend using the Hogan variant of the Harry Vardon grip, the one I showed you in the last video. And the reason for that is when we start interlocking these hands, we start placing this right hand down a little bit too much into the palm, and it makes it very difficult to do one of the releases that I'm going to show you here today. Okay. Now today I told you we're going to cover the 3 different types of releases we're going to learn. We're going to finish up with the basic ProTrigger instructions we started with the last video, and I like to call that triggering up because we get on the trigger early and we stay on it, and that really helps to balance us and get the proper alignment of this trigger and this right forearm and elbow relative to our left elbow. Once we get the arms unfolding properly, we can then adjust the factors of our stance, our ball position, and our posture to match proper leverage to the ball. And that's a complete 180 from the way golf is taught, and it makes it a whole lot easier, okay? And the ProTrigger does that for you. As soon as you strap it on, you feel it, like, okay, wait, that's where my arms and hands have to be, so let's move that proper motion onto the ball. Everything starts to get easy, okay? So without further ado, let's jump on, let's get our ProTrigger. I keep mine up here in the workout room. You can tell I'm not working out today, but we are going to work out just a little bit with the ProTrigger here. So, okay. And I like to use a wedge because I don't want to take anything out here. So I won't go through all how to put this on. If you want to see how to put this on and you missed the last video, video number 2, just go back and watch that one. We show you how to get your ProTrigger on. But after you use it a time or 2, it gets pretty quick and easy to get yourself all strapped up here. Okay. So we're in the ProTrigger. We're going to just lower the club down, step in. Remember, we're going to step in on our right foot, get into our posture, feel a little bit of a waggle. And we're keeping that right elbow down in front of the right hip, okay? And we're definitely feeling the base of that right index finger, the trigger. My lighting's not great here today, so sometimes I'll step up. So after we did that, we made some slow motion moves, and we just felt the trigger, and we felt exactly what it feels like to swing the club back and through to maintain this proper leverage, and at the same time release this right hand fully, but not have the club doing this. Now that was one of the other questions we had. Do we ever release this? In other words, when we swing through, do we keep this, right up through the finish? And the answer to that is no. Once we make impact, we then do allow this the club to release, and what we're doing is we're actually impacting at the point of maximum acceleration of the club head, and then the point of maximum speed is when the club actually gets straight past the ball. Okay, and at that point the club is going to start to roll over. Okay, but this is going to show you exactly where you need to be, and you put the bands on and you just let your arms kind of relax and kind of move, and this is going to do it for you. And it's going to put you right in the proper position, okay? So the first drill was just to feel it, and you can even take the hand off and just put the trigger against the club at first to feel the connection point of the right hand. Then we're going to take and hit the impact bank just with a short swing to start, feeling that leverage. And as soon as we start to lower down, we move our left shoulder, we've now placed weight on this right forearm, and it's aimed down in front of our right hip. We can't release too early. We get pinned, and we couldn't miss if we wanted to, okay? Now, if we're misaligned, we can run this right elbow into our right side, and I'll do it from this perspective. Instead of getting this elbow down in front, we start running this elbow into the side of our body, and you can see that if the connection points of our hands are the last 3 fingers of our left hand and the trigger of our right hand, as soon as we develop leverage against our right side, well, we're automatically going to start releasing, coming over the top. And we don't want to do that, okay? So after we've hit the impact bag a few times, feeling the trigger all the way down through that, we're simply going to take the bands off, the ProTrigger straps off, and we're going to hit the impact bag a little bit without the device, and we're going to feel that same motion. Feel yourself let it go right from the top. It's now because you're in proper alignment and you've got leverage there, and it really is a wonderful feeling. When you start doing this, your swing starts balancing you, and anytime you get a little out of sync, you go back to this basic move and you get back in sync, and then once you get back in sync, you start making that power move. Okay. I guess I am getting a workout in today. Pardon me. So the next thing we're going to show you is I want to show you something I like to call releasing the trigger. So that basic move I call triggering up. We get on the trigger, we stay on the trigger, we feel the balance. This goes by different names. Most famously, this is Ben Hogan's secret, or Ben Hogan's move. And I've seen a lot of golf instructors say, okay, hey, we understand Ben Hogan's move. We're going to teach you Ben Hogan's move. There was a famous golf commentator, a former champion, who one time on the TV said, oh, I'm going to show you Ben Hogan's move. And he demonstrated that. And I won't tell you who he is, but he had a real good Open back in '73 at Oakmont. And he just didn't understand. That was his move. And basically he said, okay, we're going to drag the left arm, make that single plane motion, just buckle this left wrist and rotate as far as it goes so it can't rotate any further left, and that increases the accuracy. Well, that's what you get when most instructors say, oh, well, I know Hogan's move, or they do some variant of, okay, I'm going to drop, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to flip, and then just buckle this so it can't go any further, can't rotate this thumb any further, and that's going to increase our accuracy. When you actually feel Hogan's move, you're really going to be surprised, okay? Now, the nice thing is this ProTrigger is going to do it for you. Some of the difficulty that I was having is that this is darn near impossible to teach. When we get done here, I'm going to put a link in the comments down below. Check that out, of Tom Watson when he first learned this. And before he learned this, he said, I didn't know how to hit a golf ball until 1992, which surprised everybody. Everybody in the crowd laughed. But you can watch that video, and then afterwards he says, oh, well, my secret's all about spine angle. But at some point you can hear him say that as long as you maintain your spine angle, you can shoot your hands out anywhere, and you can make it work. Well, you can make it work if you're Tom Watson. What he had learned was to instead of to drag this club down behind him, drop the club and make this single lever swing, dragging the club to the inside to get a little bit more power. He learned to all of a sudden get up on the trigger and use this right arm effectively to make a compound leverage motion. So that's what he learned, and he learned that, wait a minute, this breaks down if he gets a little bit out of posture. Well, we're going at it again from a different perspective. We're going to learn the proper unfolding of these the right and left arms to get maximum leverage or proper leverage, and we're going to take that leverage and adjust the factors of stance, ball position, posture to put that proper leverage on the golf ball. It makes it a ton easier, and it really makes learning Ben Hogan's secret possible, and it was very difficult before. So here it is. Now, in the other swing, we got on the trigger early and went to the top of the backswing. When we do Hogan's move, and again, we want to use Hogan's grip. If you use that interlocking grip, it's going to make it pretty tough to do this move, okay? We're going to let these hands cock up this way. Now, if I just allow the hands to kind of cock up like this and let them go back to the right, well, this band on here is going to cock these wrists up where they need to be. We don't want to cock them straight up in front of us. We want to cock them up this way, okay? We're not actually on the trigger per se. We're a little bit above the trigger. If we're on the trigger, we're going to feel tension in this top band. Okay, so this top band is not taut. It's not being stretched. It is just resting. So we're just resting as this goes up, and we're allowing the hands, instead of getting on the trigger this way, we're allowing the hands to come up this way, and this top band is pulling us up. Now at the top of the swing, instead of a bowed position or a flat position, we're going to get a slight cup in the back of this left wrist. Okay. Now we don't have a weak grip, so we're going to notice very little cup there. If we had a weak grip on the club, we'd notice a lot of cup, like Ben Hogan, and there's other golfers that had a little bit more cup. We're just going to notice a slight cupping though. So this is Ben Hogan's move. So we take and we swing to the top of the backswing, making that action that I just showed you, letting the bands pull us up in this direction. And then from here, we're simply going to move onto the trigger. And let me show it to you this way. So instead of getting on the trigger and taking it up and coming back down on the trigger, we are now going to let the bands pull this up as we swing back, a little cup going there. And then coming down, we're going to get on the trigger. And when you do this with the impact bag, if you're following along and you have your device on, I guess I should have warned you first, make sure you get the bag in the way, because these bands are going to take you when you do this. So we're going to go ahead and swing to the top of the swing here, and we're just going to let our arms relax and get on the trigger. And you're going to feel something pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. So we're just going to do that. Okay? And what it feels like is we're coming right over the top of the ball. And of course, Tom Watson, he explains that. He says, boy, it felt like this. But let me again show you the distinction. Over the top is when we run this right elbow with the right side and get this right hand coming over the top. We don't want that. But in this move, we get to the top of the backswing. Actually, we're getting the left hand over the top. And when this left hand moves out over the top like this, we now pin this right elbow down in front of our right hip, and we give the club a good start. So back in the early days, Bobby Jones before, they would call this motion giving the club a good start, or hitting from the top. Well, a lot of students said, oh, well, let me hit from the top, and they went, whoop, and cast it. So then, Tommy Armour comes along and he says, oh, we're going to delay the hands until here. Well, Tommy Armour, he would teach you want to hit with the hands. Well, you're not actually hitting with the hands. There's no power. What he was teaching was to educate the hands and this proper unfolding of the hands. Any amount of inefficiency where these arms and hands are concerned is a power leak, and we don't want that. Okay, so as soon as we get proper leverage, we can really hit that ball a long ways. Now, after you check out the video from Tom Watson, I'll put another video in there that shows by other people, some links to some other videos that shows Tom Watson's swing before and after his swing change. Now, to the untrained eye, it just looks like Tom Watson because his mannerisms are the same, his pacing's the same, his pivot's pretty much the same. But once you know where to look, you say, "Oh yeah, wait a minute, he was off the trigger. He was just making kind of a single leverage motion there and trying to use swing plane to control that path. And he won most of his tournaments doing it that way. But then he got a little bit older and he was having a little difficulty with that. And in another video, he mentioned it was causing a little back pain for him. And then you can see that change. I'm also going to include a link to a video of Mike Dunaway. Now, most of you know who Mike Dunaway is. He was a long drive champion. He's passed away now. But what I want you to see is that Mike Dunaway is actually taking that basic swing there that I just showed you, and all he's doing is releasing that heel and getting a little bit more body weight or weight transfer. And he's definitely making Hogan's move. You can watch how his arms and hands really outrace his body down to impact. And that's how he was able to generate those massive distances. So at first, I just want you to do this very simply because it's incredibly powerful and it really does feel like over the top. But again, I just showed you the distinction. Over the top with the right hand, bad. We don't want that. But when we make this move, and Ben Hogan showed it here in his book, 5 Lessons, he said, oh, like this. Well, if you get down here before you make this move, you're cooked. It starts at the top here, and we move right onto that trigger position. So that cupping and bowing, or this motion here, occurs from the top of the backswing down to that trigger position. If you have the bands on and you make that move, the swing's just going to take you. And it really does feel as though the arms and hands are leading the motion through the hit. It's the most amazing feeling if you've never felt it. It is incredibly more powerful and far less stress on the body. And that's how Ben Hogan was able to play really well to an advanced age, and why he was able to compete after a near-fatal accident. I can guarantee you he was never the same after that. You could see it in the way he walked and the way he moved, yet his win percentages were much better after learning his secret. In fact, until he learned that secret, he really didn't do it very well. One last thing I'm going to talk about as it pertains to the secret is, releasing the trigger, as I call it. I call it that because on the way up, we're not on the trigger, and then coming down, we don't feel as much pressure against the trigger. We feel very little pressure against that trigger with this move. That pressure that we would normally feel is dissipated very rapidly in acceleration. Now that acceleration flexes the shaft more, and a byproduct of that is speed at impact, which gives you much more distance with less effort. Okay, so we're 15 minutes. I'm running a little bit long here. I'm gonna cut the video off there. Go ahead and try that, and then put your comments and questions down in the comment section, and check out those 3 videos. You can see highly skilled professional golfers learning the secret for themselves, and you can follow in their footsteps and get the similar type of results. So until next time, thank you for watching. As always, if you would please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and share this with a friend. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.